Hello and welcome back to the Consultech Technology Cafe. Today in the cafe we're going to be taking a look at some of the challenges that physicians and other healthcare providers face in terms of their IT infrastructure. I want to draw your attention to the free white paper enclosed. If you click on the Physician IT link in the center of this slide, you'll be taken to a download page where you can get the full 12-page report, of which we'll just touch on a small fraction in this slideshow. At the end of that 12-page paper are 14 different resources, free resources that are available to you from various government organizations to help you with electronic health record management, with HIPAA, with continuity concerns. So just a little bonus at the end of the white paper. So why do we say that a set and forget approach just won't work in a physician or healthcare office? Well, there's really two things that we're concerned about: practice continuity and practice security. Practice continuity and practice security. Practice continuity from the perspective of making sure you have the infrastructure available and operable at all times, including front office, back office, and any of the diagnostic equipment that may use your IT infrastructure as part of its operation. Security, really right now talking primarily about the HIPAA security rule, but looking forward towards the concept of electronic health records becoming not just optional, but really standard and required. According to the Obama administration, there's going to be a big push in that area. And in fact, right now, there are some grants available to help urge healthcare providers to move forward with an electronic healthcare or electronic health record system. So we talk about practice continuity. What do we really mean by that? What we're talking about is making sure that your office, your healthcare practice has the ability to keep vital business operations running at or near normal capacities in the event of infrastructure failure. So if power goes out, if there's a glitch somewhere in the system, that you have access to the records when you need them. Because when we're talking about people's health and treating people, we need to make sure that we have access at all times. Now, one of the interesting things when you begin to study disruptions, and here's a slide from another white paper that uses the term BCDR, and by that I simply mean business continuity and disaster recovery. But if you take a look at this pie chart, one of the things that should jump out at you is that there are a lot of different ways that continuity becomes disrupted. And let's just look at the larger ones. 44% from a hardware failure. 32% from human error. So the operator has done something and kind of bound up the system. 7% from virus and security breaches, 14% from incompatibilities between software and firmware, and only 3% caused by natural disasters. So while most people focus on natural disasters, the fact of the matter is there are many other much more mundane and quite frankly more common reasons why your IT infrastructure is at risk of going down and not being available at that critical moment when you need it. So shifting our focus to security, quick timeline here. HIPAA came upon us in 1996. That's when it was passed by Congress. In 2003, now under the jurisdiction of the Health and Human Services Department, the HIPAA security rule comes into play. And now, 2009, we know that the Obama administration is very focused not only on electronic health records, but also on cybercrime and the impact that security plays on our country as a whole. And so expect to see a cyber czar appointed soon if it hasn't already happened by the time you view this slidecast. Quick review of the HIPAA security rule. What is its intent? Really to make sure that you as a healthcare provider maintain the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of electronic protected health information. There's three ways that is mandated, three different areas. One is the technical safeguards. That's really the IT end of the world. The second is the physical safeguard. That talks about office security and making sure that physical records do not get lost, misplaced, or tampered with. And then finally, the administrative portion. The administrative safeguards really to make sure that we document in formal policies and procedures those practices to make sure that our data is protected. The technical safeguard area is really broken down into 5 specific areas: access control, audit control, what they call the integrity standard, the authentication standard, and then the transmission security standard. Not going to go into detail in this slidecast on those. It's covered elsewhere and covered in great detail in the white paper. Here's the thing. As a healthcare provider, you really have to look at security and continuity as an iterative process. Each time you add new functionality into your physician IT infrastructure, you need to look at impact on continuity and impact on security. For example, have you added a new billing software? Have you perhaps added a newer revision of a billing software? What about practice management software? What about new hardware, servers, workstations? Any new diagnostic equipment being brought into the network? How about new laptops, PDAs? Even something as mundane as personal software loaded onto computers at your practice. Any and all of those things create a reason to reassess the environment from a continuity and security perspective. Why? Well, because we're dealing with individuals' health, we're dealing with patients' health, and any disruption of service, even for just a few minutes, could potentially have life-threatening implications. If you are relying upon electronic health records to help you prescribe and administer treatment, and suddenly those records are not available, you have a problem. So from a small practice and healthcare provider perspective, you really need to have your continuity and security ducks in a row. What to do next? I strongly urge you to download the white paper entitled, "Is There an IT Doctor in the House?" You can do it by clicking on the Physician IT button you see at the bottom of this slide. When you get that paper, you'll get 12 pages of detail surrounding compliance with the HIPAA security rule, the future of electronic health records, and more discussion of continuity within a practice. At Consultech, we take the pain out of your healthcare practice IT. Thanks for joining us in the cafe today. We'll look forward to catching you during our next session.